Welcome to the Dermatology Studio with Dr. Yusra Ayaz.
Welcome to The Explainer. If you've ever had that maddening itch you just can't seem to satisfy, or a rash that just won't go away, you're definitely in the right place. Today we're going to dive deep into eczema, a skin condition that so many people deal with, but is often really misunderstood. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll nail down what eczema actually is. Then we'll look at all the different forms it can take. After that, we'll get into the science of what's happening inside your body, track how eczema progresses from a new flare-up to a chronic issue, and finally, we'll talk about how it's diagnosed and managed. All right, first up, what even is eczema? Let's start with the big picture, and honestly, the name itself tells you a whole lot about what's going on. Get this, the word eczema actually comes from a Greek word that means to boil over. And wow, is that a powerful image or what? If you've ever had a really bad flare-up, you know exactly how accurate that feels. Like your skin is just boiling with inflammation. So what does it actually look like? Well, it's a whole spectrum of things. It can be as simple as dryness and some scaling, or erythema, which is just the medical term for redness, but it can get way more intense. We're talking about things like fissuring, where the skin literally cracks open, and vesiculation, which are these tiny little fluid-filled blisters. So who gets eczema? Well, pretty much anyone, but certain types definitely play favorites. You've probably heard of atopic dermatitis, right? That's the one we see a lot in infants and kids. Then you've got nummular and astatotic eczema, which tend to show up more in the elderly. And for folks who work in factories or around chemicals, yeah, they're more prone to irritant and contact eczema. Makes sense, right? Okay, let's put on our lab coats for a second and see what's happening on a microscopic level. A pathologist is on the lookout for 4 classic signs. First up is something called spongiosis. Basically, it's fluid building up between your skin cells, making it all spongy. Then you have acanthosis and hyperkeratosis. Both are fancy words for different layers of your skin getting thicker. And finally, they'll see this lymphohistiocytic infiltrate in the dermis. Just think of it like a crowd of inflammatory cells, the body's first responders showing up and causing a commotion. All right, so we've got the basics down, but here's where it gets interesting. Eczema isn't just one single thing, it's a whole family of conditions. You can basically split them into 2 main camps, and it all comes down to where the trigger is coming from, outside the body or inside. So on the one hand, you have the exogenous eczemas. Exo means outside, right? So these are triggered by external stuff. We're talking about things like allergic contact eczema from a belt buckle, or irritant eczema from a harsh soap. Then you've got the endogenous types. Endo means inside. These are driven by your own body's internal processes. This is where atopic eczema fits in, the one that often runs in families. But it also includes things like seborrheic eczema. You might know it as stubborn dandruff. Okay, so we've got all these different types. But what's the underlying mechanism? What's actually going on inside our bodies that leads to that maddening itch and inflammation? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Okay, this is super important. At its core, eczema is what scientists call a type 4 hypersensitivity reaction. And the keyword to remember here, delayed. This isn't an instant thing, like getting hives from a food allergy. Nope. With this type of reaction, it can take hours, sometimes even days, for that rash to show up after you've been exposed to a trigger. It's a slow burn. So check out this flow chart. It really breaks down the immune system's chain reaction. It all kicks off with an antigen. Think of this as the enemy scout. Special cells in your skin spot this invader, process it, and basically show it to your immune system's special forces, the lymphocytes. Once these lymphocytes are activated, they go into overdrive. They multiply, creating a whole army, and release these chemical messengers called cytokines. The cytokines are what sound the alarm and cause all the trouble. The inflammation, the itching, the rash, the whole shebang. Now, it's crucial to understand that eczema isn't static. It's a process. It can look and feel very different depending on whether you're in an acute flare-up or dealing with a more chronic condition. But before we get into what it looks like, we have to talk about what it feels like. And there is one word that is absolutely central to the experience of eczema: pruritus. That's the medical term for itching. And look, if you have eczema, you know this isn't some little bug bite itch. This is the hallmark symptom. It's a profound, persistent, can't think about anything else kind of itch.
So clinically, we see 2 main presentations. When it's acute, it's often, well, it's wet. You see swelling, tiny blisters, and it can be exudative. That means it's oozing or weeping. Now, compare that to chronic eczema. This is the long haul version. It's typically dry, red, and scaly. you'll see scratch marks, and you get this thing called lichenification, where the skin gets really thick and leathery from being constantly scratched. Two very different pictures.
So let's go back to the microscope. Why does that acute eczema look so wet? Well, it all comes back to that spongiosis we mentioned, that intense fluid buildup in the epidermis. That's what creates the vesicles. You can also see the immune cells rushing to the scene, and the skin is already starting to thicken up, a process called achondrosis. Okay, so what happens when things start to settle down a bit? We move into the subacute stage. The spongiosis and the blistering start to diminish, which is great, but the acanthosis, that skin thickening, really starts to kick into high gear. You also start to see changes in the very top layer of skin and evidence of the ongoing battle, like layers of plasma and the remnants of those inflammatory cells.
And finally, this is the picture of chronic eczema. By this point, the skin has gone into full-on defense mode. You see major thickening, that's the hyperkeratosis, and really prominent acanthosis. And you see these rete ridges, the wavy parts of the epidermis, get super elongated and broadened. This is the microscopic picture of what we see on the surface as that tough, leathery, lichenified skin.
Now, here's where things get really fascinating. First, there's something called autosensitization. This is wild. It's when eczema on, say, your foot triggers a new rash on your arms. Then there's conditioned hyperirritability, which means one inflamed area can make your skin all over your body way more sensitive. And finally, you've got the angry back syndrome. This is when a strong allergic reaction on your back can make your skin so inflamed it starts giving false positives on other allergy tests.
Okay, so with all this complexity, how on earth do doctors figure this all out? Let's talk about diagnosis and how we manage this condition.
Well, step one is always the most important: a thorough history and a good look at the skin. But to get the full picture, a doctor might need to dig deeper. They might check IgE levels, take swabs to check for infections, or even do a biopsy to confirm the diagnosis under the microscope. There's a whole checklist of investigations they can use to zero in on the problem. When it comes to treatment, there's a really clear, tiered approach. It all starts with a first line of defense: avoiding irritants, using lots of moisturizers, and switching to soap substitutes. If that's not enough, we move to the second line, with medicated topicals like corticosteroids to calm the inflammation. And for the most severe cases, there's a third line, which can include things like phototherapy or oral medications to suppress the overactive immune system.
So after all this, what's the big takeaway? It really forces us to think about our skin in a new way. It's not just a passive barrier, it's our largest organ, and it's incredibly active, constantly having this intricate conversation with our immune system. So it leaves us with this thought: knowing how complex these immune reactions in our skin are, how does that change the way we view our overall health? It really shows that what happens on the surface is often a window to what's going on deep inside.
Thanks for watching. Hit like, share, and subscribe to the Dermatology Studio. Ask your skin queries in the comments below.